Hey, welcome back to Miss Joan Uncut with me, your host, Miss Joan, back with another video. Whew, so this video is a little different. Yeah, it seems like YouTube is under attack, y'all. Before I get started, I just want to thank all my new subscribers for trusting in me to bring you content. Also, my old subscribers and my day one subscribers, you are everything, and I really do appreciate you all. Thank you for stopping in. You know how we do over here. We spectate, we do not participate in the drama, and we get right into it. So let's get right into it. So child, I'm here with a video, child. I am. And I am here with a video that is about Carlos King and Maurice Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and start. All right, so I was scrolling through YouTube and I kept seeing these videos being recommended, but I wasn't really paying attention. But then I noticed, like, maybe I need to check into this. And as I did, I noticed that child Carlos King, who we know as the executive producer of Love and Marriage Huntsville, but with other credits as well with other reality shows, child, he's struck in all these YouTube creators' channels. And honey, when I say they are pissed, right? So what I'm learning is that recently he has struck a YouTuber's channel by the name of Chit Chat with QT, right? I went over there, checked the page out, watched the content. Also, if you go onto her community wall, you will see a screenshot where she is actually showing you the strike that was on her channel that she is currently fighting. And it says Carlos King, child. It says Carlos King. It sure does. And I was like, baby, it's getting messy. Okay, so then it goes on to, as I'm looking in, so I've been researching, trying to understand. And as I ran across Queen Sheba Darling, I've been watching her for some time. She had a live about it, right? And as she's having this live, it was really good, y'all. Check it out. Other content creators were hitting her panel, and we're learning that, like, these are other content creators' channels who he has struck, right? And they have the proof to show that Carlos King. So, because at first, if you know, it was kind of like a mystery who was going around. They didn't know who of like the Love and Marriage Huntsville's franchise, baby, is Carlos King now. We're going to get into him for a minute. Okay. Let me be careful about what I say. So, you know what I'm saying? My little channel don't get struck. Okay. Because the word is he is going after smaller, I don't like using the term like small channels, right? Your beginning channel, but for the sake of the content. So supposedly he's struck in smaller content creators who have really good numbers or very good traffic, and just snatching and striking their channels, honey. And that's the rule of YouTube. No. When you start doing that, don't nothing good come from it, I'm telling you. So I've been trying to get the information. Well, why did he, strike these channels? So from the information I gathered from a few CC's channel, right, a lot of people is leaning towards that he's jealous of Melanie, right? Also, I learned that recently, I believe Melanie ended up calling him out face to face about the whole situation with her ex-husband, who is Martell Holt, where pretty much they don't understand why he's still on the show, because of all the harassment he has done to Mel and how he has been. He's been very problematic. And it's been very alarming to a lot of the viewers, because it's just really putting Mel in a very unhealthy environment, if we're going to be honest, because the man is obsessed. Okay. So then I go on as I do some searching, right? I realized myself, I'm not really surprised that Carlos King did this, because I remember him from Hollywood Divas that was in 2014. And I used to be like a reality TV, especially Black reality TV junkie. So I tuned in all the time. And if I'm not mistaken, he was a little messy on that show as well. Okay. Now I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember some things. So as I went ahead and said, well, let me do a little research. And remember Housewives of Atlanta, the season where Phaedra and Portia, it came out that them two pretty much went at Candy about her sex dungeon, child. Them that sex dungeon. Y'all remember? Well, I found an article and I want to read it to you guys. And this is about Carlos King. And it's pretty much just gives us a good insight. He's messy. He's always been messy. I'm not surprised. So from the Urban Bell, as you see, it say, while we're not sure if any of this is true, NeNe Leakes have been very vocal in the past about her issues with Carlos. She has stated quite often that he's allegedly very messy behind the scenes and likes to set up confrontations within the group. In fact, she believed Carlos hired Claudia Jordan to come on the show to attack her for ratings. Not too long after that, Carlos and Claudia were let go. But Carlos returned at some point, child. Now, this is all allegedly. Okay, allegedly. I researched and I'm just discussing it. And baby, I always knew he was messy. So I'm not really surprised, right? And so I have noticed on a YouTube street that Dr. Simone did recently come out and called Carlos a blogger, child. And from my understanding, he did not like that. But let me say this. You are in the atmosphere of YouTube, right? YouTube is a community. YouTube is, once you get into sectors and you get deep diving into like content creators and sectors, it's like a unit, a family. And one thing YouTube in all sectors do not like is striking. Once you start striking, you will get isolated. Okay. We'll get into that a little bit. But pretty much, if you're going to strike channels, yeah, baby, you a blogger. And so I bring this up to also bring up Maurice Scott. If you don't know, Maurice Scott is from the reality TV show of Love and Marriage Huntsville. He's married to Kimmy Scott. He is a brother of Marcel Scott and Letitia Scott. Okay. And this is also a show where it is Melody Cherie and Martell Hall. I can't stand him, child. Okay. And so this all wraps up because he's also, child, this man is literally attempting or allegedly suing bloggers on YouTube. Okay. So we're going to get into that. So what I've learned, right, that Maurice is now suing a YouTube blogger by the name of Hair for Hot Tea. Okay. And these are all the content creators who I did. Now, it was a couple other, but these are the main ones because they are mostly involved. Chit Chat with QT and Hair for Hot Tea that is involved in the conversation we're having today, right? So we're learning that also another blogger by the name of Black Titanic, who I believe is an older woman, and he's pretty much what he's done is he's contacted Google and he has requested pretty much their bank information because he is allegedly suing them. Now, from my understanding, this all stems from a conversation on a panel where they were discussing an alleged case to belong to Maurice, right? Maurice Scott. And in this, because he's an attorney, right? They learned that this case or this record was literally recently, not too long ago, okay, expunged. And so I guess this conversation pretty much triggered Maurice, right? Because a month prior, from my understanding, he also messaged under the Hair for Hot Tea's comment section requesting that she remove that information, right? And so there is a lengthy message where he pretty much explains how the information is incorrect, right? That he's never, committed a crime. He never been to jail for anything. He ain't never do nothing ever, like ever. Yet his record allegedly was recently expunged. Okay, so a month ago, he did ask that the bloggers pretty much apologize to him and remove the content. Now, the content was removed from my research. The video was pulled down, but it seemed as though after the conversation, I guess, about this child, clearly love and marriage between Carlos and Maurice, these two men, they in their fields and they messing with people's bag, and you can't do that. You can't do that, child. You can't be out here striking people, messing with people YouTube bag, child. It don't never end well for another YouTuber. I'm just saying, because Carlos is a YouTuber. He just don't know. They should have told him. Whoever he was dealing with on YouTube should have told him how it goes down in the YouTube streets. Okay. All right. So then it goes on to pretty much this is currently going. So here for the hot tea did respond. Check out her channel. It was good. Child, it was good. It was good. Okay. It was very good. It was very informative. I can understand her frustration. We also learned the subscriber who was on this panel, I guess, who uncovered this alleged information, is also being sued. And what this subscriber is doing, she's fighting back, y'all. What she's doing is pretty much doing a countersuit and claiming pretty much, I did not defame your character, sir. I just said some stuff, some information, and you know. And I'm like, oh, child, y'all be playing with them courts, And it's funny, right? Because a Negro get a law license and he get all happy and want to get sue happy. Look, I'm not too fond of these brothers, child. They just all messy, okay? So, from my understanding, though, he's going to have to be able to prove that any damages was lost and that it affected his image at all. And honey, there's nothing that anyone as bloggers could say that can affect your image but you. And you do that just well on your show by having your woman have sex with you while she is going through chemo. But that's a whole nother story, okay? So pretty much that is what's going on. This is ongoing. I am definitely going to be keeping an eye on this, see how this goes. My thoughts on this all is, before we get into that, child, there's a little, the content creators are now working up to probably do what they call a blackout on Love and Marriage Huntsville. So from what I've watched and researched, what I'm gathering is a bunch of CCs, especially the ones who've been striked due to Carlos and Maurice. They're pretty much are talking about, I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but they're pretty much talking about no longer reviewing content from Love and Marriage Huntsville. And the big conversation among this whole thing is that if it was not for the bloggers, right, we wouldn't even know Love and Marriage Huntsville, right? There's also a TikToker who has a YouTube channel that was discussed in one of the videos I watched, that she put a lot of people on to Love and Marriage Huntsville, but she was also striked on YouTube. So clearly, it seems like if they see that you're playing the content, even snippets, Carlos is out with a vengeance, right? So here's my thing. Carlos, darling, YouTube is different. It's a different arena. It's a different playing field when it comes to content. And Queen Sheba said something that stuck with me. She said, if you mess with my bag, I'm going to mess with your bag too. A lot of these content creators work their ass off for their content. Now, granted, I don't agree with all content creators, and I'm not talking about specifically in this situation, just in general speaking, because some do go a little bit above and beyond. They become too impersonable. They get too aggressive and getting into people's lives and just doxing and spilling things out that is very private and should not be out to the public. So I can kind of see that route. But with this situation, I'm pretty sure it didn't get that far. I just feel like maybe people are getting close to some truths there and they're trying to stop it from going any further. All I know, Carlos, is striking on YouTube is a no, boo. Because I clearly remember when you did your interview with Candy and that whole thing, a lot of CCs reviewed your video and they played it and you didn't strike anybody. So I'm thinking this is a little more personable. And I also seen Queen Sheba did mention something about how I believe some video got leaked and he requested that it did not get played, and it did, and maybe that too. Look, I watched a lot of videos and nobody has came straight out and just said why he's doing this, but I will be keeping a close eye, child. I will. Overall, Carlos striking people is definitely going to, it might put a dent in his pocket. If these content creators really do decide to do a blackout, I do think Carlos will see a dip in his numbers. Honey, I'm in the Facebook groups. I'm on the YouTube. I'm in the Instagram accounts, Love and Marriage Huntsville, YouTube. Honey, when I say I be in there, I be in there. When I say they're unified, they are unified. Ain't nothing more beautiful than a bunch of Black women that unify together to take some shit down, child. That's what it looks like. But yeah, that's all I have. Let me know below in the comment section, like, are y'all keeping up with this? What are your thoughts? The fact that Carlos have came into someone else's space, creative space, and just start striking channels. And what's your thought on Maurice, child? Maurice is a lot of work, isn't he? Oh, I thought Marcel was, but Maurice just know how to keep his a little bit more on the low. But that man's a lot of work. Let me know what you think below. If you stuck it through to the end, you are a real one. I sincerely appreciate you. And thank you so much for taking time out. Don't forget to share your girl. It is greatly appreciated. And you know how we do over here. Smooches.